In today's live stream video, we're going to discuss my guest's reselling business, including how to adapt and pivot your business model. We'll share us tips and strategies to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. Every Wednesday, I have a live stream, and I usually interview another reseller and I have them share their tips, tricks, and techniques to help make us more knowledgeable and profitable resellers. So if you're a reseller, then you are in the right place. I'm going to pop in the chat and say hello to a few people, and then we shall bring my guest on very shortly. I saw that Mike was in the chat earlier. Mike, good to see you, my friend. Lisa C, always good to see you. Bobby, good to see you, Bobby. Thanks for joining us. And my moderator, Mr. Randy, how are you, sir? Good to always see you there. Thank you for being here. I'm sure the chat will be filling up very shortly. So I'm going to bring my guest on and have him introduce himself. Because some of you may know Todd, some of you may not. So Todd's a great friend of mine and a very talented reseller and super motivated person. So I was really happy that he agreed to come on the show again. So let me bring Mr. Todd on. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Adam, how you doing, buddy?
Doing wonderful.
Good deal. Good to see you. Thanks for asking me on. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Why don't you tell the people that don't know you a little bit about yourself, Todd?
Yeah, let me see who's here in the chat. We've got Flippin Goodies. We've got Randy. Thanks for being here, Randy. Lisa, thanks for being here. Cap Guy, what's up, Cap Guy? And Mom Knows Treasures, how you doing? My name's Todd. If you haven't seen me before, I have a little channel called The Flippin Hustler. I started reselling full-time December 6th or December 5th of 2016. I've been doing it ever since. I currently have just over 1,800 active, and it's what I do, man. I always tell people that reselling is not really a job. It's a lifestyle. It's just you're either in on it or you're not. So that's what I do. That's the long and short of it. I go to antique stores, garage sales, big box stores, look for anything I can make a profit on, and then I flip it on eBay.
Great. Yep. And you're up north. What location are you in?
Yeah, I'm up in Minnesota. I'm probably about 100 miles south of Canada.
Oh, okay.
Minnesota. So it gets cold, and the snow gets this deep up here, and it's awesome.
Yeah, Ty used to do quite a bit of lies, and it was funny. He'd be out there snow blowing his driveway. It's like, thank God I don't live in Minnesota. That was always fun. He was out there snow blowing his drive.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Appreciate you popping in the chat. Like I said, the chat will be filling in shortly, and I appreciate you guys coming in and joining the chat. Okay, Ty, why don't you tell us a little bit about your reselling business? What platforms you're currently selling on?
eBay only. eBay only. I did try Whatnot, or no, I didn't try Whatnot. I signed up for Whatnot, got it approved, and yeah, something didn't feel right in my gut because I knew I was gonna have to take my foot off the gas, eBay gas, and put it on the Whatnot gas, and I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I didn't do it. But I'm approved, and I could, but yeah, eBay only. For a short time, I was selling on Macari. I had like 80 active, and I sold, I don't know, 5 or 6 items, but it was just too much for me to have this out here thinking, okay, if I forget to take this off here, I'm gonna have a problem, because canceling, as we all know, is a bad thing to do. And I'm not talented enough to juggle those, I guess. So I put everything into eBay, and I just go hard that way. Yep. And it's made a difference.
At one point, I think weren't you doing a Facebook Marketplace a little bit for larger things for a while, or that was a long time ago? No, you never did it? Okay.
No, I'll go on Craigslist and I'll buy stuff.
Craigslist you'll buy, but you never resold on Facebook Marketplace.
No.
Tommy Bernard says he thinks I should do videos about men's hair tips. Reselling is easy, good hair not so much. Well, I don't have much hair, Tommy, so I can't give hair tips. Todd's got a great head of hair though. He's got a full head of hair on him.
eBay, 5,996 listings.
Yeah, Bobby's got a ton of listings. He's got the drive like you do, Todd. He's a machine, this guy. He just really pumps out the listings and does a great job.
That guy's like 3 of me. That's amazing. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and he does it by himself.
Really? Yeah. Anyone that can put up numbers like that, I just stand back and go, okay, show me how. Everybody's running as fast as they can at their own pace. And I think that's all a person could do, as long as they're trying, and you have to want to, you can't half-heart this kind of thing. But yeah, 6,000 listings, that's something.
That's a lot of listings.
Freaking
Well,
awesome.
that's Bobby's the cap guy in JT, and he does a live stream right after mine.
Nice.
With
I'll have to go
Angie,
check
so
it out.
they're on right after this. So I usually remind people to pop over to this live stream after they're done viewing mine. So
Yeah, we'll check that out.
very interesting. Learn a lot from Bobby and Angie. Okay, why don't you tell us? Like I said, you told us a little bit earlier about how you source. So why don't you just refresh your memory about how you source, where you source?
So your last place I went sourcing was a thrift store. So thrift stores, but the same day I hit a garage sale. So, and that was even on Monday. I went to this garage sale, and I didn't find anything while I was walking around. And as we were leaving, over by the tree were two freaking vintage blow molds by Carolina Enterprises from the 70s.
Wow.
Awesome. We all know blow molds are worth some cash, right?
Sure.
So I went up, I already knew. So I went over to go ask the lady. I was like, so how much do you want for these? And they were dusty. They looked like they'd been sitting outside for, 5 years or something.
Right.
I don't even know if they work. You have to clean them up. You have to. Why don't you just go ahead and take them? And I was like, are you sure? She's like, are you sure about that? She goes, yeah. She goes, I don't even know if they work. And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, God bless you, lady. Have a nice day. And I took them home, and I was smiling, boy, because that's $100. Yeah. 75 to $100. I think I'm going to keep them and put them out there for Christmas this year because they're like 4-foot tall candles.
Yeah.
Really cool, man. They say Noel on them and stuff. They cleaned up. I tested them, and they work.
Free is good.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about this, Todd. And I'm a big believer in using old quotes because I think there's a reason they've lasted for so many years. And want to talk about adapting and making changes in your business. There's a saying that the only thing that is permanent is change. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's actually Albert Einstein. Not that I'm a genius, but that's Albert Einstein's quote. So why don't we discuss the types of products you're currently selling and have you made these changes in what you sell and what kind of caused you to make those changes?
What caused me to make the changes? Opportunity presented itself. I just had my head down doing my thing, just working. So the first example would be about a month and a half ago now. I'm driving down the dirt road, going out to the farm to go visit my in-laws or something, and the other car's coming this way, and they flag me down and pull me over. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And happens to be this farmer that, or this guy that knows my father-in-law. They've been friends since they were kids. He's like, so are you still doing that eBay thing? I said, yeah, I'm still doing the eBay thing. He's like, well, I have a few things you might want to check out over at the farm. I said, yeah, what do you got? And he says, I've got a bunch of models. And I said, okay, well, when do you want to get together? So we exchange phone numbers, whatever. A couple weeks go by. I get a phone call. I don't answer it because I didn't recognize the number. Finally, I call back. I'm like, hey, how's it going? This is Todd. What's up? And he's like, yeah, it's Paul. Want to meet up? And so went to the farm. And yeah, man, dude had 288 models, plastic vintage models from the 70s all the way through the 90s. So far out of that 288, I bought 70 of them. And I'm paying $10 a piece for them. And so I bought 70 and that was about a month and a half ago. And I currently have a total of 27 left. So they're selling really well. The first thing I did was I bought 20 and those out of that 20, 15 sold. So then I went back and I bought after the bike sold, which is a whole nother story. After the bike sold, I went back and bought 50 more models. So that was $500, right? And so then at that point I had 55. Well, now I've got 27 left, but total I bought 70 and I have 27 left.
Right. The average sale price is, what would you say, about $35, $40?
Some are $30 or something, and some are $100. So there's some really great ones in there, and there's a lot of $15, $20 profit ones in there. But you got to buy all of it to get the good and the bad. But the fact of the matter is that they're still sealed, and they're not repops, man. They're like from the 70s and 80s and 90s.
Right.
Like this Elvira one. I already sold one of these for, I think it was $99. Wow. And I had 2 of them. Yeah. So that's super cool.
And your cost of goods is $10 on that.
Yeah. Yep. So, but what I think happens is it's not necessarily just the models. I think that when you add a new category, and if you can put a bunch of that stuff up and kind of dominate that category, not necessarily dominate because in a genre that big, you can't dominate it, but
Right.
you have several up and people can't help but to keep seeing your stuff. You're going to sell some stuff, right? Plus you're going to bring fresh and new eyes, people that wouldn't have generally gone to your store, and they're going to go in your store and say, oh God, well, this guy sells old vinyl. So that was another thing I had just recently purchased, was a bunch of vinyl. And bought it right. The first few albums paid for itself, and now it's all profit. So anything I can buy in bulk, buy low, yeah, that. So the models, the vinyl, and then graphic t-shirts. Now we've all sold graphic t-shirts, but I started actively looking for them. I was like, okay, man, I'm just going to start looking. And I was looking, finding a few, but then I stumbled upon, went to this garage sale, man. And I bought, what was it, 39? No, it was 4. Anyways, might have been like
at a
30.
garage sale. Okay.
At a garage sale. Vintage 90s country concerts, like Reba McEntire, Garth Brooks, Travis Tritt, Brooks and Dunn. And some of these are single stitch, not all of them, but a good majority of them, because they are from the 90s. The ones from the 2000s are not. Some of them are on Screen Star tags, which is super cool. So yeah, man. And all said and done, I think I was $31 plus two dozen bags of sweet corn on that deal.
Okay. Your family has a farm, and you get exchange some bartered a little bit for some sweet corn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And in that lot also was some Goldberg wrestling shirts. Those are up there for like $2.99.
Yeah, wrestling shirts sell very well, I understand.
Yeah. So I've got some wrestling shirts up there, a lot of Western. And then, so now instead of just having one full tote of graphic t-shirts, I have 3. So that's pretty cool. So I think between adding 3 different things kind of generated something. I don't know, man. It sparked it.
What made you go into the collectible t-shirts? What made you decide to go novelty t-shirts? Any reason you jumped on those, or videos, or just research? Or
I had been buying them before. Mm-hmm. And then about a month ago, the same day that we found this shirt. So this shirt was found by my daughter's friend. We were all at the thrift store, and she's like, hey, look, for you. And I was like, cool. So at that thrift store, they were having bag sale day. It was all you could fit in a bag for $30. So that day I jammed a bag full of really cool shirts. Look at that. So, I mean, that means this shirt was like $2 maybe. But how do you beat that?
Wow. Okay.
For $2.
Yeah, I picked those up at one of the discounters in my area. I pick up NASA stuff.
Yeah.
I try to get stuff for under $5, but that's new, and that's for me. That's not for resale.
Yeah. Here's a vintage Sawyer's Brown sweatshirt. Concert sweatshirt.
Very nice. What's that listed for? Do you know? Remember?
I'd have to look. I can't remember off the top of my head. Okay. I was listening full, but they're all up there, and you can guys go check them out. They're under graphic t-shirt category in my store.
Right, guys. So like I always remind everybody that's in the chat that I have I always list my guest list, or any information they want me to list, in the description of the video. So I actually have Todd's eBay store as well as his YouTube channel in the description of the video. So we're actually going to pop into Todd's store and see some of the things that is listed a little bit later.
So, I mean, that was it. Those 3 things, plus the bike that I had bought the beginning of summer. It was probably June, somewhere in June. And took about a month and a half to sell. I took the fast cash on it because I bought it, because when I initially comped it, it comped out at $1,100. No, how was it? Excuse my language. $1,999, $1,999. So I bought it for $50. I was like, woohoo! I listed it and had a lot of lookers, a lot of looky-loos, and then I had a deal fall through for like $1,100. And then I had a couple deals fall through for $850, and finally some dude came through for $770. I was like, you know what? I paid $50 for it. Someone, is going to want it. I sold it for $770.
Now, what type of bicycle was it that it was so valuable?
Yeah, it was a 1974 Yamaha Moto bike, but it was actually a BMX bicycle with suspension and all that crap. But it was from 1974. And I could have parted it out and done it that way. It ended up being a box that was 48 by 24 by 21
Ooh, okay.
and 69 pounds, man.
How'd you ship that?
I threw it in the back of the truck and drove it down to Detroit Lakes, which is about 30.
You hand delivered it. Okay.
No, heck
Oh,
no.
no. Okay.
No, it went all the way to Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used 2 rolls of tape and 5 hours of time to. I think you guys watch me do a lot of that prep work on that. Yeah, we shipped it.
Oh, at least I actually saw your video of it. Okay.
Yeah. I took it to Detroit Lakes, which is 35 miles away, to UPS.
Right.
And they had a dolly there, and I dollied it in, and it already had the postage on it because I printed it off, and away she went. Yep, it was like $175 to ship it.
That's a great deal.
I'm gonna check that chat, see what's up. I'm missing all of it.
A few new people popped in the chat. Esme's in the chat. Larry, I think I said hello to Larry earlier. If I didn't, I apologize. Larry's in the chat. Tommy's popping in some good comments and little comedy in the chat. said his, I don't think he said his former wife or current wife looks like the wrestler. It's like, okay, Tommy. And there's Caffeinated Christy. Thanks for joining us, Christy.
Yeah, Jesus, a lot of people here. Anna Mora, Tommy, of course, he's a funny guy. Looking good, he's Precious. Hey, how you doing, Precious? Boatman, don't know you, but thanks for being here. Lisa, yeah, I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, how you doing, SMA? Thanks for being here. Yeah, Lisa said I have a bike. Okay, so anyway, that's what it is, man. I think just adding different categories, yeah, and not being afraid to try a whole bunch of different things. And if you can get a good deal on it, if you buy it right, everything's just a lesson,
right?
Kind of thing, you know. Like here's a bad buy. I think I don't know. They're still here. I bought all these, got a great deal on them, so I'm not tripping about it. But maybe I bought them at the wrong time, and now the winter's showing up, they'll sell because I bought them at the end of last season. So I guess that makes sense. If they go over your windshield, I think I might have paid $1 a piece for them.
Oh, $1 a piece. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. At that big thrift store, they had truckload sales. So, at that same big store, I picked up this Techniques setup here. It had the cassette deck as well, but it has instructions, the remote control, tested. I ended up listing everything individually, and I sold the first piece for $65. I have $60 into all of it.
Okay, so you got your money back.
I got my money back, and now everything else is going to be profit. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Tommy mentioned that Greyhound ships things. I wasn't aware of that. He said they used to be very competitive and not as much anymore. I never realized that Greyhound even shipped things for you. That's really interesting. Okay. You know, I hear stories about, you know, where you can pick up things at like, you know, different supplies and things, you know, some of these like U-Haul rental places. Apparently they have, you know, decent prices on boxes and you can buy different things at U-Haul, but I wasn't aware that Greyhound shipped things.
Yeah, I did not know that.
That's great. Okay, now with the models, I mean, you had this hookup. You met a friend of yours basically that hooked you up with that. Is there anything like I mean, you're learning the category now. Is there anything that you might be aware of that we should be aware of if we see models out in the wild, so to speak, at with garage sales or yard sales? Anything in particular to look for? I mean, obviously wrapped, I guess, new old stock, right?
Yeah, obviously sealed is going to be always the best. Mm-hmm. But don't be afraid to just buy stuff that people want, or that it's an open box, because sometimes people just want to part them out. And I even have sold boxes of, I wasn't even sure if everything was there, but you put on there for parts only, just like you're parting out a TV or a radio or something, a vacuum cleaner, same diff. And it's crazy how much some of these little teeny tiny parts can go for. Tires, wheels, whatnot. But the stuff you're going to want to be looking for is this kind of stuff that's not normal, like this Beatnik Bandit. You know, that's a George Barris model. Okay. So that's kind of a different thing. But for the most part, they're all pretty popular. This one right here has been super popular. I have it up there for $55. I've turned down multiple offers, and I'm just going to sit on it. You know, there's some things that I'm willing to flip quick, and other things that I'm like, man, I'm never going to see that thing again. So I'm going to hold out for a little bit longer. Now, if I was hurting, yeah, I just flip it and be done
Yeah,
with it.
it's different. Sure,
But,
sure.
yeah, like some of these right here, these 55 Chevys. For some reason, the views on these are crazy. And I think I have one up there for like 75 and one for 65, and these are open. And they will sell. I'm positive of it.
Now, with your eBay store, do you send out offers to watchers? Do you
I
have a
do.
process of that? Okay.
I do send out offers to watchers. And I have that right there in my little about part of me on the thing.
Right.
It says, yeah, to follow me. And in my description as well, that's one of the first things it says is to follow my store. And all that stuff. Yeah.
What else do you do? Do you do any free shipping, or you charge for shipping? How do you typically run your eBay store?
Yeah, I charge for shipping, man, because there is no such thing as free, and I think people know that. And if they want to buy it, they'll pay the shipping, either way. So
what about running sales? Do you pull sales on off and on? Do you get involved with sales?
Yeah, no, I run a sale. We've got a sale going right now. I think it's everything over 30 days. So if it's been on for more than 30 days, it's at like a 10% sale or 50, I don't know, some kind of sale going on. And I think, yeah, my wife set that last one up. I can't remember what she put it at. I think it's 10% sale there. And then we run a lot of times trending or one above or one below. We're always messing with it.
For the promoted listings, yeah.
I don't just put it up and say, okay, set and forget. You can't do that because after about 5 days, everything gets stale. So you have to monitor your analytics, see what's going on, watch your numbers. And if you see your dip coming, back out and then set everything back up again. And generally, it will restart everything and the numbers will pop back up. It doesn't always happen, but
you'll remove your listings and then relist them or sell similar?
No, we don't remove them. We'll end the sale. Yep.
End the sale, okay.
We'll end the sale. We'll end our promotions, anything that we have going on, promoted listings, end it all, let it set for a few hours, and then restart everything back up.
Gotcha,
and make our alterations.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe edit the pictures or edit the description or something in the
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, but usually it's
sometimes that's what it takes, sometimes, or maybe changing your featured picture, using a different picture for your featured picture.
Well, yeah, you do have to go back in because I've noticed that, like when I sold the bike, that was up as one of my featured pictures, whatever. And after sold, it was still up there.
Oh, really? Okay.
You have to go back in there and change those. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
But I've been utilizing the category sections and putting stuff in my categories like you're supposed to, but actually having the pictures up. And I don't know, man, just trying to play the game a little bit better than I had in the past. But I've gone back and I've looked because it's 6 years now. And boy, that first year was rough. And that second year was rough because I made some mistakes. And if we have some new people here that haven't been selling on eBay for a long time, I'll tell them the stories. But if you guys are all off to go,
we're going through things relatively quickly. Why don't you just touch on that a little bit?
Okay, so I started selling, like I said, December 5th, 2016.
And why did you get involved in reselling? I usually ask, and we got kind of sidetracked. I didn't ask you how you got involved in reselling. I know you were done a lot of different jobs over the years, and you're in the automobile business. And
I was a suit and tie guy basically my whole life. In one capacity or another, I was a manager of Men's Warehouse for about 3 years. I was a finance manager over at a dealership. I was in car sales. I sold insurance for many years. So I have years of sales. And the last thing I did was I was selling cars at that dealership, kicking butt, taking names, and one day I walked in and they rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. Cause I was working 6 days a week, 12, 13 hours a day. Yeah. And I'm like, screw this. So I left, started a detail company up here in Minnesota. It gets cold. So by November of 2016, I had to, figure out what else I was going to do. So I started selling on eBay. So I started watching, Casey the Rockstar Flipper and Craigslist Hunter and Bonafide Hustler and Global Voodoo and all those guys. I said if they can do it, I can do it. And so that was December 5th started. By March of 2017, a couple months later, I was top rated. Everything was good. Had a couple hundred listed. Come fourth quarter, November, I hadn't been doing it long enough to know better, but I had to start canceling stuff because I couldn't find stuff. Or something broke while I was trying to ship it or something. And I willy-nilly just canceled it, thinking there would be no ramifications because I hadn't been in the game long enough to know.
You didn't realize, yeah.
So I canceled 8 things in a month,
in
the month of November. Yeah, man. So I went from top rated to below standard.
Below standard, yeah.
Like that. Okay, in my first year. So that I spent the next year and almost year and a half, digging myself out of that at below rated, trying to sell at below rated, which means you're further down in the things and everything's just harder.
Sure.
But
Absolutely.
I kept doing it, kept going. So my first year was rough, second year was rough. And then it wasn't until 2020, really, 2019, it started getting serious. 2020, it doubled. But so from 2018, everything's doubled. And now we're good. But had I quit that first year, man, because I was below standard, everything sucked. But I just kept going. And what's so crazy is that I was all into YouTube at that time too. I was like, oh, I got to be in YouTube, and I'm in the community, I'm this and that. But I looked at my money, and my money wasn't right. Not even. But I was all over YouTube, but my money wasn't right, which did, after a period of time, does not make sense.
Right.
So I was like, hit the brakes on it, man. You got to get your money right, and then you can come back and if you're trying to figure it out. So I got my goals written down. Now I just have to adhere to everything and keep moving. But the main thing is the store's flowing and everything's good on that end. I'm hitting goals that I've never hit before, which for me is a big deal. I mean, the goals are a big deal.
Absolutely. So, why don't we discuss that now? Why don't you show us your board that you put your goals on?
All right. Well, this is not really a goal board. This is just my numbers board.
Your numbers board, right?
Yep. So being in the car business, we always had our numbers on the board. You can see who's selling what and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of did the same thing here at my house. Got a big whiteboard. And before I had black tape on there, I just used lines, and that didn't work. So I used electrical tape, made a grid, and every month I changed the month, right? So my goal is always to do 10,000 bucks in sales, because to me that's a realistic number, but it's a high number, but it's still realistic. I mean, it's attainable, but it's going to be hard to do for me where I'm at. In
$10,000 a month is what you're saying. So it's $333 per day.
Yep. So you can see here that some days I do 284 or 234 or 198 or 299, but there's a $95 day there, and there's a $72 day there. That's not going to help me hit my goal. But there's a 249 and a 263 and a 206. There's a 371. So there's a 354. So I'm putting up some good numbers some days.
Right.
But I just need to figure out a way to make those big numbers happen every day. And it's just to be consistent. I know that. And to keep finding good stuff and to just not get distracted, just to stay focused. So yeah. So that's that. Let me go over here and look. So for the last 90 days, our 90-day total is. Now, I've never really shared this kind of stuff because I didn't think it's A, anybody's business, and B, doesn't matter, man. But it does matter because to some people, they're like, eBay's not even a thing. You can't even make money on eBay. What are you doing? It is a thing. It is possible. You can make money.
Sure.
Is it easy? No. Is it for everybody? No, it's not.
It's hard work.
Yeah, it's work. Yeah. So right here says our last 90 days is $13,982. So that's just over $1,000 a day or $1,000 a week.
Right.
For the last 90 days. $1,000 a week for the last 90 days. So to me, that's a big deal. That's pretty good. Is that where I want to be? No. I want to go do better.
Sure.
Why? Not because we need to, but because if you want to, for me to be happy, I have to have a goal, man. I have to be striving towards something. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just a feather in the wind floating around at the whim of life. And I can't be that way. I have to stay grounded and stay focused. So that's why I want to shoot high. Now, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how some of these other people do it. I'm like, okay, if I'm running this fast,
right,
how are these people like Casey doing it? They just put up 15,000 things in the storage units, and like this guy here that has 6,000 listed, and Urban Picker James, he's got 30-something thousand listed.
30,000 listings? Wow.
Something like that, something crazy. How do they do it? It boggles my mind, but I am just constantly trying to improve my systems. And that's what I do.
Right, and you also have, like I said, you're big with motivation, and you're very big when you're with the auto sales and finances, and you're very large. It's important to you to keep motivated. So you told me earlier that you have some sayings and things on your vision board over there. Do you motivate yourself every day? You look at it when you're working. Why don't you get into that a little bit?
I've heard that motivation is like taking a shower; it wears off. So you have to do it a lot, right? Every day,
Right.
pretty much. But what I think is that if you read enough motivational stuff or positive stuff, whether it's an affirmation, whether you wrote it yourself or whether you read it, as long as you're inundating your brain with that and that overpowers everything else, that because life is going to come at you every single day, right?
Yeah,
When that comes
bleep
at you,
happens, right? That's life, And
yep,
the older you get, worse stuff happens, right?
yeah, man. And so basically, it just blocks out. Once bad crap happens, then I've got something to fall back on. That's like a cushion, a mental cushion, and those sayings will pop up. Yeah, I don't know, it's crazy. So Napoleon Hill, Zig Ziglar, Dale Carnegie, blah blah blah. And I have these little things in front of me. It just says losers quit when they're tired, winners quit when they've won. Yeah, because there's days I'm here and I'm shipping and I'm tired, or I just don't want to, but I'm not done, so I can't quit, right?
Caffeine's not doing a trick. You need the motivation.
Right.
You
Yeah.
the mental stimulation besides the caffeine.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be self-motivated and want to. And yet that's where the goals come into play. If you don't have a goal or something to shoot towards, then you're like, why am I getting up early again? What am I doing? Why am I standing? My back hurts from taking pictures for freaking how long, and blah blah blah. That's what I think people don't understand is, yes, it is easy. This is the easiest, hardest job you'll never
Easiest,
be
hardest job.
you'll never be encouraged to do, you
Right.
know? So let's see
Okay,
here.
let's. I'm going to pop in your store a little bit and just show some people, kind of the type of things that you're listing in your stores. We're going to do a little screen share. It takes me a second to bring that up, guys. Just bear with me here.
Yeah, I want to talk at Tommy Bernhard's
Sure.
question here. It says scale by average selling price, not listings. It's a very hard business model. Yeah, cash flow is king if you depend on eBay for a living. Much different if there's other income in the house. So we do have other income in the house. We do. And so that's cool. We do. Okay, so yeah, basically everything I make is what I make, and that's all. It's all profit, right? Because we don't live above our means. We live way below our means, which is something I think everybody should do. I was thinking about when I was driving to the post office today. Somebody in front of me had a brand spanking new car with new tags, and I'm like, wow, that sure is nice, man. Wow. And I thought, I'm so glad that I don't need to attach my happiness or my self-worth to a car. Like I have to drive so I feel this way. Oh, man, I'm so thankful, because that's huge. That's $1,000 hit right there.
Oh,
And if you want to be a full-time eBay reseller, $1,000, think what you could buy with $1,000 to flip.
Sure, you put that in your inventory. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Let me make this full screen. We're going to scroll through some of your listings. I want you to talk a little bit about your store.
All right.
Okay, you have some vintage bottles. You say, you told me or pre-chat, you said you're getting more into fragile goods now. Also, what made you decide to get back into fragile goods?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of doing glass stuff anymore. Initially I was, and it's only because I didn't have the right tool set. And like I was talking to Adam about, a mechanic, trying to take apart a car without the right tools, you can't do it. So you can't ship glass or anything without the right tools. So that's why I purchased my boxes, and I have a bunch of good boxes, and I have all the bubble wrap and all the crap that I need so that I can actually do my job. But when you're trying to just do a little this, a little that, nah, it's rough.
This is kind of cool. This 1950s skates. That's really neat.
Where's the Lambo? Todd Lopez. Who's Todd Lopez?
I think he's a motivational speaker, if I want to remember.
Oh, is it? Never heard of him.
I think so. I've heard him. I don't want to click on that see all, because I'm going to lose the screen here. But you have a lot of vintage stuff. You do mostly hard goods, right? I mean, you have some clothing. But
yeah, I mean, I've got a crap
more hard goods.
but there's 1,800 different things to scroll through, so you're going to find a lot of antique, vintage. Got some milk glass there. You've got some Bakelite. There's an old camera. That parrot, I just picked that up for, what was it, a couple bucks. And I don't know what I've got it up there for, but
Right.
Yeah, man, that's from the 50s.
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. So you kind of like do mainly one-offs, but I mean, what you have available to you, and like I said, you got more into the decide to get more into the vintage T-shirts and to the models. That was an opportunity more than deciding to go into the models.
Yeah, right place, right time. Really. Okay, so let's go back in this other room. So another thing that happened at the beginning of June was I got a phone call from this lady that I'd gone to her garage sale last year and had bought a bunch of stuff, had left my phone number. And so she called me and said, Todd, do you remember me? You bought a bunch of stuff. And I was like, yep. And she's like, well, here's the deal. I know this lady. She's 96 years old. She's been in the nursing home for the last couple of years. This house has been empty. It's going to get torn down. We need you to come in and take a look to see if there's anything you want to buy. So I went in and I filled up a truckload of stuff, and I paid the gal $1,000 for all this stuff. Now we made our money back on it, and everything's going to be profit. Everything has been profit for the last, I don't know, a couple of weeks on it. But the good stuff sold right away. This is kind of the stuff that we still have, which is a lot of really, really old cast iron, stat irons, and coal-powered irons, and kerosene-powered irons, and just old stuff. Like this still has the original paperwork in it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Just all kinds of old stuff. And I went in and picked all this stuff out of that house. And that was the first time I had done that. Gone into an old house like that and actually just picked, and it was super cool.
Now you said that this woman was in a nursing home. She was in her 90s.
So the gal that is helping her with all this deal is in her 80s, or is 80.
Right.
The gal in her nursing home is in her 90s, and I met with her and talked to her. And
right.
As we picked, the person wrote everything down so that we could, so that when we went back to the nursing home, we say, this is what we picked. And is this fair? And when I gave her the money, here she was good, and everything was good. So, yep. So now I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to go back and get more. If she wants me to come back, I mean, we'll have to figure this whole thing out.
Yeah, you got to work through, obviously, sell somebody what you have listed, and you generate
more
cash to purchase things.
Because it was my first time ever doing that type of buy. I mean, I've gone to auctions, I've gone to estate. I mean, I've done a lot of other buys, but I've never had somebody say, "Hey, will you come buy everything?" Well, I was like, okay, I'll bring $1,000, and hopefully that'll be it, right? I can get everything for $1,000.
Right.
Well, after I met the lady and this and that, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm giving you $1,000, and that's fair. I know there's going to be enough meat on the bone for me to make some money. You're happy, everybody's happy. But after talking to a couple other guys that are local around here that are way bigger than me, I mean, they have massive stores that they flip stuff and they buy truckloads of crap, and that's what they do big time. I was like, how do you do it? What's the deal? And he's like, Todd, that $1,000 should have bought everything in that house down to the light fixtures. I was like, really? He's like,
live and learn.
I was like, oh man. So yeah, I got to figure out how I'm going to do it, Yeah. So anyways, it's all a learning process, and that's why
that's kind of what reselling is. I mean, that's like I said, that's why I wanted to bring that up about adapting and changing things. And in fact, why don't we talk about that now? You've made a lot of changes in your setup in your basement. In fact, you even told me like you lowered your table where you take pictures, and you've done all kind of neat stuff just to make things more efficient, more time efficient, more easier for you to work. You reorganize your inventory. So why don't you go into that a little bit? And then that's something, guys, I know everyone hates to do that kind of stuff, but Todd does this kind of stuff all the time.
I do, because I'm trying to constantly get better and better and better.
Right. Improve your workflow.
I keep doing what I've been doing, I just need to get better. So, working here hour after hour, having my arms up like this, I had to end up cut off 7 inches from here and lower the whole thing down. Well, to do that, I had to take everything apart, tear everything apart, and put it back together. Well, in the process, I made everything better. So, don't be afraid to step away from your store, rework your inventory. I mean, we've changed everything around, which if I told you guys, you're going to go, Todd, why didn't you have it that way before? And I would just say, I don't know. I don't. Because I had pots and pans over here. I had pots and pans over there. I had kitchen stuff over here. So now everything's kind of consolidated. You've got toys and everything's where it should be. It's in their proper totes, and we're back on track.
Well, like you had told me, I mean, I knew your wife had worked in management and retail, so she's involved now in your business, your home business. So she's very into organizing things and making things workflow better. So you told me she helped you design things and put things where they should be. And
yeah, well, she's like, if I were you, I would do this and this and this, and I think we should do this. I'm like, I understand that, but it doesn't make sense to me. I was like, because if we do that, it's going to be easy to screw everything up, but it's going to be hard to put everything back together. And she's like, do you trust me? I was like, of course I trust you. And I was like, but she's like, do you trust me? I'm like, okay, I trust you. She's like, all right, man, that 15 years of managing, being a manager of 70 employees in 3 stores.
Yeah.
She's the real deal.
He said, Ty, I should listen to her a long time ago.
So she's made me better. And so that is probably why our numbers have gone up as well, because she has made me better. And she's doing great. Yep, everything's going good.
Yeah, Tommy says he's made a lot of changes. His whole floor plan at least 3 times. The numbers underway this weekend. We're always learning and adapting. Absolutely, Tommy. That's kind of what the theme of the show was. I just like I said, I love how Todd's got that super worth ethic, and he's got really motivated, and he's constantly adapting and improving and changing things, and he doesn't sit on his laurels, so to speak. He's always trying to improve his business and increase his sales.
And man, I don't know everything about everything or anything about anything. I'm just constantly learning, and trying. Constantly learning and trying. I think that everyone that's in the chat, you're all the same. You're all the same people doing the same thing.
Sure.
Some people I don't know, but if you're here, I can imagine.
Well, like I said, I mean, if something isn't working, like I said, Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over repeatedly and expecting different results. You're gonna get the same results. So if something's not working, you want to try things. Maybe pick something up. I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but reach out, try something. Like you said, now you're showing fragile goods, so you figure let me do that, and then so they got back in the single stitch T-shirts, and so
I just throw a lot of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. So maybe a shotgun approach is not always the way to do it, but sometimes you just try different things. Okay, so here's another thing that changed in the last 6 months or whatever. The beginning of summer, I bought all these boxes. A wall. They weren't just boxes. It was a wall, a whole shelving wall full of toys and miscellaneous stuff. And this guy has sold his entire building to U-Haul. So I'm sure he got paid a pretty penny, right? Real nice guy. His name is Bill. I've been buying stuff from him. Scored so hard at that store so many times for years, right? Well, so he knew me. He knows what I do. And he knows how important buying is, right? So he's like, well, why don't you just buy everything on that wall, Todd? And I was like, oh, man. Like, fuck, I don't
buy everything on that wall?
That's going to be thousands of dollars. I can't do that. And he's like, well, maybe I'll make you a really good deal. And I was like, well, I don't know. My wife's over there. Make me a deal, and we'll go talk about it. We'll think about it, So there was all this stuff. I mean, vintage toys and all kinds of crap, right? So he's like, how about $225? I was like,
$225 to the whole wall.
I shook his hand right there. I was like, I'll talk to my wife later.
Yeah, that's a done deal.
Yeah. So that was that, because I know how she would say, yeah, just do it. Because that's basically what she is. She says, I trust you. You're not going to do anything. She understands that, I kind of know what I'm doing. So she trusts me enough to let me do what I got to do. Right. So anyways, we bought it, came home, took, I don't know, 9 different videos in January of the unboxing of box 1, box 2, blah, blah, blah. But that really sparked the store too, because I was putting just a crap ton of really cool old stuff up.
An infusion of vintage things.
Yeah, I think it ended up being a total of like 250 something pieces.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like $1 a piece or something crazy. Or it might have been more than that. But
and what's nice about vintage things is that they're kind of unique. I mean, when you're selling used clothing, you're selling with the masses, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's just, how old is this thing?
What's that? Like, I think the kids would like hop one. I don't know what they call that. You just sit on the hop one. Cool.
That is super cool, right?
Yeah.
So we made our money back in the first, I don't know, month, or not even. It was really, really fast, and after that, it's all been profit. You ever hear someone say, "Caught you playing Tiddlywinks" or something about Tiddlywinks?
Yeah, right. Okay. I didn't even know there was a game, Tiddlywinks.
Me neither. There it is.
Wow.
From, I don't know. Looks like 1960 something.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, 1963.
That's almost as old as me.
Yeah.
That's old.
There's some really cool stuff in there. Another thing that was in that whole pile, or that wall pile, that we didn't realize until we got home and we're going through things, was there's two huge flat boxes. We're like, what are in these? So we untaped them and opened them up. I'm like, what the heck? It is pheasant feathers. Now, I don't know if everybody knows what pheasants look like, but they've got really cool feathers and they're long. But there ended up being 4,200 pheasant feathers.
Oh my God. Is there a market for those?
Yes, sir, there is.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and if you go look at my solds, go check out the solds. They're going for, what do we have up there for? $884 for 10.
Okay.
$884. But I've got 4,200 of them.
Wow.
You got 4,200 times, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're from size 5 inches up to about 22 inches long. And we listed them in lots, you know, just like 3 different kinds, sizes. And within the last month, go look at the solds. I've been shipping them out. So I had to come up with a new way to ship these things. I had to figure out a way. How do you ship a freaking feather without it?
I was actually thinking I was going to ask you that. How do you ship a pheasant
exactly.
feather? Yeah.
Yeah. So here, I'll go show you what I've come up with. And so far, everything's made it.
You thought you couldn't sell feathers on eBay. I don't know what. I guess you've been selling for a while, so you haven't had an issue, right? They haven't been pulled down.
I've had 0 issues.
Yeah. You didn't have any listings pulled down, right, for the feathers?
No, I've not a problem.
Perla says her dad collects feathers.
Yeah. Okay. So what I do is I buy these big pieces of whiteboard for $1 a pop.
Right.
I cut them into 21-inch sections, 5 inches wide, so that I can put my 4x6 label on there.
Right.
And then I get one of these. I put 10 in here. I roll it like this, roll it up, put another bag on the other side, and then I sandwich it between the 2 pieces of whiteboard like that. And it's 22 by 5 by 1, basically, or half inch really.
Right.
And weighs about 10 ounces, and it ships, and haven't had a problem. And I bet you I've shipped out 10 sets at least.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we own them for nothing now, and we had to figure out something to do with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're not doing any good just sitting there, right?
Yeah. And I was like, how the heck are we going to sell all these things? And my wife's just like, well, just lot them up and put them up there. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do that. So,
folks in the chat, is anybody here in the live that has any questions for Ty? And I'm fortunate enough to have Ty on. I try to have him on, a couple times a year, actually. Last time was about 5 months ago, so I'd like to have Ty on a couple times. And I know he's not doing really a lot of lies because he's busy making money on supporting the family. So I'm fortunate to have Ty on a couple times a year. So if there are any questions you have for Ty, why don't you ask him at this point?
Yeah, for sure.
Check out the chat, see if anybody has any questions for you. Like I said, we don't have an opportunity to talk to Ty a lot. He's busy making money. Growing his business.
That is true, but it's also, yes, I am always trying to get better. But I know that there's so many people like Tommy. I know Tommy probably is kicking my butt. I'm sure his numbers are probably 15 grand in the last 90 days, if not more. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are doing way better.
Tommy has some wholesale connections. That's if you can do that. And
so
kind of sort of replenishables like sneakers and things. Or not really technically replenishables, but they're things that wear out. So people have to replace them.
Yeah. So I never claim to be any kind of fish. I'm just a fish in the pond, trying to do the best I can in the place that I'm at. And for where I'm at, I think we're doing well. I'm very proud of what we've accomplished. I'm proud that we've stuck with it, be it myself and my wife.
That's right. Your sister and your mom are both selling on eBay now. Lisa had a question. How is your mom doing selling on eBay?
Yeah, she's kicking butt and taking names. She's got like 1,051 active. She ships out, multiples a day. Go check her store out. It's called Mavericks Treasures. Mavericks Treasures.
Okay.
Yeah, she's 79 years old. She didn't start selling until she was 74.
God bless her.
Now she's 79. and she's got over 1,000 active, and she sells purses and primarily purses and shoes, but like
Okay.
the high end, the ladies stuff that
Sure.
I
Okay.
care nothing about. But
Now,
that's
she's
totally.
selling things that she has. She's trying to liquidate that she has, or she's buying things in thrift stores.
Oh,
And
no, my sister and her, they go to the bins. My
the
sister's
bins.
known.
Okay. Okay.
My sister's known for finding some good stuff. She's got a good eye.
Oh,
She's
good.
got, she's got over 1,000 active too, and she's
Oh, your
shipping
sister has
multiple.
1,000 active now. Wow, she hasn't been doing it that long. Wow,
No, yeah, no, she's doing real well.
that's great.
So though out of in my entire life in 6 years so far of selling, those are the two that actually listened, watched what I did, listened, and then implemented it, and they're making money. And then recently, my buddy Steve, we call him Paco, but I've known him since we were in college. Anyways, he'd been telling me for years, yeah, I should do it. I should do it. I was like, yeah, you should do it. You should do it. And then one day he did it. And boy, did he do it. He put all his stuff up that he's had since he was a kid, all kinds of original Star Wars stuff and guitars and mixing boards and all this crap. And he did
Right.
like $8,000 in the first month and a half or something. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
I was like, I didn't even think that was possible. See, when I started, I was like, I would have been too afraid to put up something that was over
Yeah.
150
True.
bucks,
True.
200
Yeah.
bucks.
I know. I was hesitant. Yeah.
Dude had no fear, man. He put up $500 pieces, $300 pieces, and he sell, and they go, and he get good feedback, and it just kept on moving. He didn't even think that it wasn't possible. He didn't even let that enter his mind. He's like, just did it. And so sometimes that's the thing, just doing it, not knowing any better. Sometimes is good too, you know.
Right. Pearl wants
Yep.
to know when you're going to do your next live stream. I guess you don't really schedule live streams anymore. If you just happen to pop on, you pop on, right? I mean, you don't really have, because you're busy running your eBay business.
That's pretty much what it is.
You might pop on maybe when you're doing shipping for a little bit, but
well, I've got my notes right here in my notes. Schedule's in right here. Where's my schedule? So I'm trying to break everything up into 2 hours. Take pictures for 2 hours. Okay, then take a break. Then list for 2 hours. Okay, then take a break. And then work on YouTube content, whether it's shoot a video, think of a video, do something, or edit a video for 2 hours. And so that I can get something done in multiple areas every day versus just going all in on eBay every day.
Right.
Because, that's basically what I've been doing, but I need to figure out how to include more things in addition to trying to add in YouTube, spend more time with my family, obviously. But then there's chores you got to do, man. There's house things I need to do. I want to work on a house, to work on landscaping. So yeah, I'm just feel like there's trying to do a little bit of everything all at once.
Oh,
I'm sure everybody feels the same way, right? I know everybody feels the same way.
Well, you had mentioned actually your YouTube channel, so just recently. So why don't when we get into a little bit about the content you're putting on your channel and what you have planned for the future on your YouTube channel?
So the last thing that I had put up was just something with me and TJ, but I want to bring more value, and so I'm trying to take notes on what you guys want to see, because haul videos, anybody can do a haul video. I need to figure out how can I be different, and have people come back and give them a reason to come back, not just because I'm standing here talking, So, yeah, we shall see what happens. We shall see. I try not to talk a lot about what I'm going to do or what I'm not going to do or this or that. I just do it and then say, hey, guess what I did? And it's a lot better that way, because now I can look back and say, hey, look, I did this, because I could have totally made videos about, me buying the bike and selling the bike and blah, 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 blah. And then the models, there's video content. I mean, I've got so much opportunity for content that it's ridiculous. But I'm like, you know what? Stay focused, get a listed, get picture, and just work. And then when the time is right, then you let off the gas and do that. So I don't know. If anyone's figured out how to juggle this whole thing, let me know.
Pearl says you should make thrifting videos.
Thrifting videos, more thrifting videos. Okay.
Right. What's the best way for people to contact you if they have any suggestions? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Just go check out a video and just leave a comment.
Leaving a comment to your
video, the most recent video, or I get the notifications for any comments that's left.
Right.
So any random video you pick.
Right. So like I said earlier, that Todd's YouTube channel and his eBay store are in the description of the video. So check out Todd's store. I mean, you might learn something and you might find something that you're interested in, and be a win-win. You buy something and make you happy, and buy something from Todd and make him happy.
Speaking of buying stuff for me, repeat buyers. It's so possible to have repeat buyers. And it's I prefer repeat buyers because a lot of it has been the models, but it's just other stuff too that I can't remember how I found on how many I have had.
That's one of the things I didn't ask you. Do you get involved with couponing or anything? Do you put coupons when you ship things out to people?
I had done a coupon, but I had a promotion going and a sale going, and then the coupon popped up. I'm like, I'm not trying to take extra. I mean, I'm already doing this and this and this. I'm not trying to give up more.
Can't double dip, so to speak. Yeah.
I can only bleed so much. So.
Right.
Okay, so in the last, I guess it's gonna be 90 days or the last 30 days. Last 30 days, I've had 8 repeat buyers. That's pretty good. 8 repeat buyers.
That is good.
Yeah.
You're buying mostly the models.
It's hard to say. It doesn't really show that part. Well, Toys and Hobbies has generated $1,300.
Okay.
Yep. So I will be going back and buying more, and maybe this time I will shoot some content and get some videos of the model buy. But when I walked in the dude's house and went in that room, floor to ceiling models, man, 80% of them sealed with dust on them. I was like, oh, yeah. And he has model magazines, and some of them comp out $15 to $20 a pop. I was like, holy crap.
There you go.
So that's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Great. Okay, guys, if you're enjoying my channel and getting value from it, please consider helping me offset some of the costs. I would greatly appreciate it. I have to purchase equipment, pay for subscriptions, and of course, like anything else, there's time and effort involved to bring you folks good educational content and help you grow your business. I have Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, and Cash App. And there's also a link to Randy's website, fakesigs.com, where you can buy coffee, tea, spices, and old-fashioned candy. And Randy is kind enough to pay me a commission at no cost to you. You buy something from him, you just put AE on his website when you register to purchase something, and Randy is kind enough to help me out. So anyway, I like to say that time is your most valuable asset. I'd like to thank Todd for his time, and those of you here for the live and watching the replay, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up before you leave, subscribe, turn notifications on, and if you can, leave a comment. That helps the video as well. All right, sir. Appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we'll have you on another 6 months or so. And like I said, if you guys have any comments for Todd, reach out to him, leave a comment on one of his videos, and we'll address it, and we'll get things going for you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Adam. I appreciate you guys' time. Keep hustling.
Keep hustling. See you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, guys. Take care now.
See ya.